This week, we dropped the last part of the Season 1, Chapter 4 Reimagining. Another Season 3 chapter outline is in the books. We've got 7 new chapters of edits from Zoran for me to get to and get to you guys, so huzzah. And I'm just a little guy figuring it all out. All this and more, but first, a message to our heroes. Hey everyone, if you're hearing this quick message, you're in the public version of TABTA. Right now in the Heroes of Edera version, I am chatting with them, thanking them for supporting the series and help keep the lights on while we're so small, and sharing little songs and stories and behind-the-scenes stuff. So if you guys want access to that and to support the series, help keep the lights on while we're still a small little shop, you can check us out on patreon.com/7thvalkyrie, that's 7THVALKYRIE, and learn more. Anyway, on into the show. Hey everybody, and welcome to TABTA, the adventure behind the adventure for the 7th Valkyrie, where we watch one series go from total obscurity to maybe 7 seasons in a movie, or maybe we just find the power of friendship along the way. I'm your host, Colin Sharp, creator and current voice of the 7th Valkyrie, and it's great to have you listening. First, let's cover the week in 7th V content. So, on Wednesday, we've got the Season 1, Chapter 4 Reimagine, Part 3 dropping. Now we will have the full chapter of Slanted Reflection, which means we've got this big, old, mean 3-parter out of the way, and we will have the listen along this Friday. Then, as always, on Monday, we're back again with TABTA, and heroes, you guys got that all already. Right now, patrons are on May 29th, so if you want to jump ahead into the future, you can join them on patreon.com/7thvalkyrie, and that date may be pushing forward soon, because Big Z has delivered the most recent batch of chapters, which is about, I think, it was up to 17 from Season 1, and it's about 3.5 hours of content. So I've got that big fun batch of stuff to dig into. Just a shout out to Big Z here. He had to replace his entire sound and editing setup because some of his equipment had gone out of date, and he still managed to rip through 7 chapters, all that content, and then apologized to me for the delays. I don't think he listens to the show since he already has listened to it over and over again in the edits, but I cannot be more grateful to you, Z, if you're listening, or him if everybody else is, just for how he slotted into this production cycle. It has made 7th Valkyrie in its current form so much more doable. Sky's the limit. Anyway, apart from that, I wrote another chapter outline last night, and I'm feeling pretty good about my flow and outline stuff. Obviously, that's kind of working on that long term while we're working on getting all of the reimagines done, making sure that everything's all ready and prepared. It's kind of blah, blah, blah. But I've been doing that, zipping back and forth between zombies, Astro Goblin videos, and writing chapter outlines in the late evenings. And it scratches this old itch of moving and grooving and flowing that reminds me of the late nights I used to take when I was first dreaming 7th Valkyrie up. So that feels like a good thing. As for what's going on with me, I mentioned this briefly to the heroes. But I took some time over the weekend to try to kind of get my feet underneath me, get my head right, move forward with a reasonable plan of attack for my work, rest, social, and self-care schedules. And it's feeling pretty good. Like when you're working on 7 different projects concurrently, and that's big, basically 7 different clients and areas of work, it can be a little tricky and at times feels like everything is teetering on the edge of total chaos. So I organized my task into a sort of mini gamified weekly challenge format modeled after Black Ops Zombies challenges to help with that and set expectations that I can both achieve but also have an understanding that I'm going to try to surpass. Anyway, and I've been really locked in with my Wumpus recently, too, in terms of communication and mutual support, so that's a big plus. Shout out to everybody out there putting in work with their partners. It pays off. But speaking particularly of Wumps, our question this week comes from Dark Wumpus, who says, so what are you doing for No Kings on Saturday? Now, for those of you guys who don't know, there's going to be a big protest on Saturday in the U.S. against all the bullshit going on, and if I was in the States, I'd be attending. However, as Dark Wumpus asks and notices, I will be in Costa Rica. So I think what we're going to do with our friends is a No Kings beach day. Fittingly, on a public beach, surrounded by nature that's heavily protected, with all of my queer, immigrant, progressive Latino friends. So basically, while the world is pointing out and resisting the current before photo of hate and total chaos, which I'm chipping at away, the ways that I can and resisting. But I hope me and my friends are going to try to model the joyous after that we're all moving towards. So thanks for asking, Dark Wumpus. Anyway, if you guys have a question for me that you'd like to hear answered, leave a comment and I'll check before next week. In the meantime, stay tuned for upcoming releases, Wednesday and Friday for public, with the hero version's already available. And I'll be sending y'all some love. Ciao, guys. Talk soon.